WKRN?
I think so.
Okay, great. Well, we are ready to begin. Thank you. My name is Michael Patrick Leahy. I am the co-founder of BEAT Lamar, which is a project of the Real Conservatives National Committee, an independent expenditure super PAC. And on September 30th, we endorsed Joe Carr as the candidate for the United States Senate in the Republican primary. Joe is a conservative Tea Party endorsed candidate who votes no on amnesty, unlike Lamar Alexander, who votes yes on amnesty. And in our press conference today, we are going to document the unanswered questions from Lamar Alexander's runaway bus tour. I want to take a minute and welcome some of the co-sponsors of this event. From representing Tea Party Patriot Citizens Fund, which has endorsed Joe Carr, Mr. Ben Cunningham with the National Tea Party. Ben? I would also like to introduce another group that has endorsed Joe Carr from the Conservative Campaign Committee, Lloyd Marcus and Selena Orange. Thank you so much. Now, we call this the Lamar Alexander Runaway Bus Tour for good reason. He announced this sort of in the stealth of at midnight. He has not released his agenda. You can only attend his event if you are on a select list. It's invitation only. He's answering no questions. And most importantly, Lamar Alexander is running away and hiding from the BEAT Lamar college students who have greeted him at 9 of his runaway bus tour events throughout the state of Tennessee. And in a moment, you will hear the personal testimony of 4 of the BEAT Lamar college students who attempted to ask Lamar Alexander these questions, and I think you will be shocked at how he failed to respond to those very legitimate public policy questions. Let's be very clear. This election is about Lamar Alexander's yes vote on amnesty. To be specific, Lamar Alexander supports Barack Obama's amnesty agenda. He voted yes on Senate Bill S-744 last year. Now, those of you who have heard a few robocalls last night know that at the very last minute, Senator Lamar Alexander is pulling an Eric Cantor. And by that I mean he's sending out a robocall that says falsely he voted to end amnesty. This is not true. Every Republican member of the Tennessee congressional delegation has stated that Senate Bill S-744 was in fact a vote for amnesty. Lamar Alexander supports amnesty yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And that's why Tennesseans need to vote tomorrow for Joe Carr, because he is the man who says no to amnesty. I want to take this opportunity now to introduce 4 of our BEAT Lamar college students who will give you their personal testimony about Lamar Alexander's runaway bus tour and how he ran away from them. And there will also be some video evidence of Lamar Alexander turning his back and running away and failing to answer questions, very legitimate questions, from his constituents. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mike Koening, a BEAT Lamar college student. Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Koening, and I've been spending my summer working on the BEAT Lamar project of the Real Conservative National Committee. I'm going to be a rising senior at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, graduating next May with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing and aspirations of going to anesthesia school. Let me start by making a recap of what we've been doing this summer. My colleagues and I have knocked on over 70,000 doors in the state of Tennessee with an overwhelming with an overwhelming majority of the people that we've been talking to telling us that they're going to stand with us tomorrow and vote for Joe Carr as we beat Lamar in the U.S. Senate primary. Fast forwarding a little bit, and particularly talking about this past week of our campaign, my colleagues and I have been following Lamar Alexander around on his runaway bus tour as we try to get him to answer a few of our questions. He's refused to debate Joe Carr, and he's been quoted saying that we could walk up on the street and ask him any questions, so that's exactly what we've been trying to do. The questions we're trying to get answered are, why did you vote yes for amnesty? Why did you miss the vote on the Jeff Sessions bill last week? And most importantly, why won't you talk to us? The event that sticks out most in my mind was the event that took place this past Saturday, August 7th at Bristol Chamber of Commerce. This is whenever I went up to Mr. Alexander and attempted to ask him a question, and well, I'll let you see for yourself what happened. It seems that we're having some technical difficulty, but you can go to the BeatLamar.com Facebook page for access to the video, and I'll just describe what happened in the video. So I walked up to Senator Alexander like he said we could, and I was dressed in nonpartisan plain clothes that didn't endorse Joe Carr or Lamar Alexander. I shook his hand. I introduced myself, said, "Hi, Senator, my name's Mike Koening." He said, "Nice to meet you, Mike." And then I proceeded to ask permission to ask a question. I said, "Senator, may I ask you a question?" He then promptly turned around, his back on me, and walked away. To me, I was greatly offended, as I am an informed American citizen and a registered voter. I believe I have the right to ask a senator in a public office a question, and he just turned his back on me and refused to answer. And let me point this out as well. I didn't even ask a direct question at that point. I simply asked permission to ask a question, and he was too intimidated and scared of me to even allow me to proceed. To me, that speaks a lot about the character of our senator in office. He's scared of a college kid who just wants to ask him a question. That, along with many other reasons, is why I'll be voting for Joe Carr tomorrow on August 7th. And I hope my testimony has touched you and will encourage you and everybody out there to stand with us as we beat Lamar tomorrow in the U.S. Senate primary. Thank you.
Thank you. You know that rule, anything that can go wrong technologically will go wrong, and so we've just proved that rule. But if you hang with us, you can certainly get that on the Beat Lamar website, and also you can see that video. We may have it by the end of time here today. Thank you, Mike. That was an excellent personal testimony. Our next eyewitness of how Lamar Alexander is responding or not responding to questions about amnesty is Caetlyn Norman. Caetlyn?
Good afternoon. My name is Caetlyn Norman, and I'm a rising freshman at MTSU. Throughout the course of his campaign, Lamar Alexander's strategy has been to dodge, deflect, and ignore anyone who questions him or the policies which he has helped implement during his time in Washington. But the underlying message that these unanswered questions convey is more concerning even than his vote to grant amnesty to illegal immigrants. In all instances in which I or any of my peers approached Senator Alexander to ask him a question, we were treated with contempt and complete lack of respect. The senator never responded to any of our questions such as, "Senator Alexander, why did you vote to grant amnesty to illegal immigrants?" Or, "Senator Alexander, why weren't you present for the Jeff Sessions vote?" The senator himself never responded to any of these questions, except to remark, "Y'all have certainly had a busy week, haven't you?" In one instance, at one of the bus stops, I approached Senator Alexander's political director to ask him why the senator refused to hold himself accountable and answer to his constituents, only to be responded to with, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there, I'm just checking emails," at which point he turned around and walked away. The indifference to our questions displayed by Lamar Alexander and the arrogance displayed by his political directors is a direct reflection of the attitude of the senator and really of many in Washington. that they don't have to be held responsible to the lowly people which they represent, and they certainly know better than the obnoxious college kids waving signs outside of their luxury buses. I would submit to Senator Alexander that we are, in fact, intelligent young adults of voting age, educated on the issues and concerned about the direction that our country is headed in the hands of elected officials such as him. Elected officials who believe that they are above their constituents and they are above the people they represent, the people they are supposed to be working for. In my experience, Senator Alexander simply has no interest in speaking to those whom he represents, those whom he works for. In fact, he's afraid of them and of their questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is BEAT Lamar College student Mark Parsons.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Caetlyn. I'm Mark Parsons, and I'm a senior studying business management at MTSU. I've been spending my summer working for BEAT Lamar, and there's been a lot of notable instances. I've been following the runaway bus tour. The most notable, I would have to say, was in Elizabethton, Tennessee. He was supposed to be holding his event at a public venue in the park. He even had signs and he had staff along the sidewalks all throughout the park. Well, I was proceeding to walk downtown, and I saw 2 armed guards standing outside of a coffee shop. It seemed very suspicious to me. So I called my BEAT Lamar colleagues, and I started to inform them. As I was on the phone with my BEAT Lamar colleagues, I found the runaway bus. He was pulling up right across the street, and here's a video of my encounter with him.
Parsons and my Senator Lamar has just changed his event. I thought that he would want people that he represents to be able to talk to him, but apparently he's sneaky and doesn't want us to talk to him. That's a shame. That's not the 5th time that he's asked me that.
I know, right? It seems as though Lamar is pretty terrified. He is terrified of just mere college students. Why would he be afraid of college students? It's because we're asking the questions that he does not want to answer, especially on camera. We ask the questions such as, why do you vote yes for Amnesty, even though he told me to my face, shook my hand, looked me in my eye, and said that.
Thank you, Mark, for that very compelling testimony. This has been pretty interesting, isn't it, to see young people engaged in the political process to be snubbed by an incumbent United States Senator. It does not reflect well on Lamar Alexander. Our final speaker from the BEAT Lamar College students is Mr. Victor Pollack.
My name is Victor Pollack. I am a student at the University of Dayton. I'm going to be a sophomore this year, and I'm studying mechanical engineering there. A big smile, a nice checkered shirt, a back turned, a question asked, and then no reply. These were only some things I observed at one of Lamar Alexander's bus tour events in Dixon, Tennessee this past weekend. While I was protesting in front of the Clement Railroad Hotel Museum, one of my colleagues, Mark, asked Senator Alexander why he didn't attend Senator Sessions' bill on amnesty the past week. Here's a video of him asking that question. As you can see, Senator Alexander just turned away and kept walking and ignored our question, and he even said, "I see you guys have been busy." As to which I say, Senator Alexander, I believe you are scared. Senator Alexander remembered the Beat Lamar campaign over the past couple of weeks at the other events that we protested during his runaway bus tour. It shows that we have gotten under his skin because he will not answer any of our questions. It shows that young adults do have voices. It's a sign that he may just know who Joe Carr is and who supports him now, the youth. Not surprisingly, Lamar didn't answer any of our questions. Recently, he has been known to ignore things. He ignored a question that we asked him the week before. He ignored his duty to attend the vote on Senator Sessions' bill this past week. He ignored Joe Carr and he ignored Tennessee, and he has for too long. I'm done with ignorance, and I don't want any more ignorance in America, and I want things to be done. This is why I'm so upset by the past week's events with Senator Alexander. I want an America where the leaders act and act upon the principles of the people. That is what this great nation was built upon 238 years ago. I believe Joe Carr can do this, and I believe he can do it better than Lamar Alexander can, based on my personal experience. Recently, at a BEAT Lamar event, I asked State Representative Carr what he believed about amnesty. He gave me clear-cut reasons and honest reasons why he believed that illegal immigrants should not be given amnesty. I felt like I was just having a normal conversation with a normal person. He was very emotional, personal, and personable with his response. He smiled and shook my hand. Lamar Alexander did not. I think it's time for a new senator.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you. Do you want to try that? We'll try Mike's again? Are we up for a technological attempt? We're going to try to show Mike Koenig's interaction with Senator Alexander. We'll take a shot at that here.
I don't think it'll work without the
We'll take a try. Well, we'll pass on that. Well, at some time later we may play that. So look, let's have a big round of applause for the BEAT Lamar College students who are showing Tennessee what democracy is about, despite the efforts of Senator Lamar Alexander to dodge and deflect the answers, as Caetlyn Norman so aptly put. This ends our portion of the press conference related to the personal testimony and videos of the BEAT Lamar college students. We want to now turn our attention to a couple of other speakers who have some statements for us, one of whom is my good friend Ben Cunningham from the Nashville Tea Party, who's going to read a statement from Jenny Beth Martin, the CEO of the Tea Party Patriots Citizens Fund. This group has also endorsed Joe Carr.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta get this off here so I can leave. Thanks. Sorry, I have to rig this up to get this to work. Thanks.
As Mike said, this is from Jenny Beth Martin of the Tea Party Patriots Citizens Fund, who's also endorsed Joe. To the freedom-loving people of Tennessee, greetings on behalf of the Tea Party Patriots Citizens Fund. National Committee and BEAT Lamar. Thank you, Mike Leahy, for letting us be a part of it. We wanted very much to be with you today, but we're in Chicago right now, where the Republican National Committee is holding its summer meetings. Rest assured, we're here to make the grassroots presence felt by the establishment. This Senate race is important, and what you do is important. It matters that a conservative state like Tennessee should have a conservative senator representing its interest in Washington. And Joe Carr won't just be a reliable vote. He'll be a leader in D.C. just like he has been in the Tennessee legislature. He led the fight against Obamacare at the state level, and he has been relentless in his opposition to amnesty. And that's what this race comes down to. Lamar Alexander voted for amnesty for illegal aliens, and he voted against building a fence on our southern border. I spent last week in South Texas touring the border. I saw firsthand the human wreckage and misery caused by the open-door policies of President Barack Obama and Lamar Alexander. Joe Carr embodies the values of personal freedom, economic freedom, and a debt-free future. Lamar Alexander stands for everything that is wrong with the establishment: corporate welfare, bailouts for big business, and an endless supply of cheap, low-skilled labor from Latin America. I urge you to use these last few days to knock on that extra door, to call that one other friend who may have slipped your mind, and get that person to the polls on election day. Nobody said taking on the establishment would be easy. They may outspend us, but they won't outwork us. Thank you again for all you're doing for Joe Carr, the next senator from the great state of Tennessee. God bless you, Jenny Beth Martin.